This podcast contains a short, eyes closed process. Please refrain from using this process if you're driving or operating heavy machinery. Thank you.
Hi and welcome to NLP Upskill Your Life, another episode. So it's great to be back again, myself and Fintan, and we're delighted to be joined by another great guest today as well, Jenifer Spain. I had the pleasure of doing the NLP practitioner with last year, so it's great to have you on, Jen. Thanks a lot for coming on to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. Hello.
Yeah, it's great to have you. Thanks very much for coming on.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, thanks very much. So we might just start off the podcast, Jen, if you don't mind telling the listeners a little bit about yourself and how you got into doing NLP and what you actually do, if you don't mind.
Yeah, cool. So my name's Jen. I suppose my journey started properly about coming up to 7 years ago now. I got diagnosed with kidney failure for the second time, and I kind of went into a shock of the diagnosis, and then a bit of a few dark moments, and in that it kind of brought me down the path of looking for alternatives. So I was kind of brought down the path, first of all, of a lot of emotional kind of work, which is what I do a lot of myself now, which really helped me. And during that journey I came across tapping, which is I'm a modern energy tapping practitioner, which I absolutely love. I tap every day myself because I just think it's amazing, and that's how I came across NLP. So it was actually through I'm an aromatherapist, but I started up by using doTERRA oils, and it was one of the women in my group in doTERRA that had actually mentioned that had brought Danielle Serpico into one of the events that's who me and Mark done our NLP with. Yeah. And that's how I actually came across NLP and Danielle, and then it just led from there. So then I done a little bit of work with Danielle as my coach, and then the NLP practitioner came up in person. So I went and done that, where I met Mark, and and then I became a biokinesiologist, which people are like, what?
That's a big word.
It's a big word, but it's just it's another. People are probably familiar with kinesiology, so it's just another form of kinesiology that tests for food intolerances and imbalances in the body. So they're kind of looking at the chemistry of the body. And then also you can look at the emotional side of stuff with the muscle test and stuff as well. And then with the tapping, I found that NLP and tapping gel amazingly together. So, with the words in NLP and the skills of using the right words while tapping on certain meridian points to really access the subconscious as well. They just go so well together. So it's a lovely combo to put together, the NLP and the tapping. And then I do, as I said, energy healings, integrated energy therapy, which would be similar to tapping, that you're releasing energy and emotions, but you're lying down, and it's kind of, I'm putting hands on your body, and it's an angelic healing, so it works with angels. Whereas tapping, as I know you are familiar with tapping, you're more involved and more kind of sitting up and going through it yourself. But all of them are fantastic, and they've all helped me on my journey. Like, if you had met me 7 years ago, I wouldn't be this person. I wouldn't even be on this podcast for you. So I'd be too shy. So it's everything combined just really helped me transform into a whole different person. And I suppose yourself, when you find something that really helps and works for you, it just sets you on a path that you just want to learn more about it. And then eventually I just was like, I want to actually do this to help others myself. Like, this is just amazing. How different I am, how different I feel. Right. So that's kind of a shortened version of how I've got here, I suppose.
Yeah, that's a great story. Great story.
Thanks very much, Jen.
Thank you.
And I suppose anybody who listens to the podcast on a regular basis will know that we all often mention tapping, 6-point tapping, and we shown it when we did the episode on anxiety, the episode on pain management, and a number of other times as well. So obviously we're big fans of tapping as well. And of course, tapping is based on the Chinese acupressure points. Isn't that right?
Yep,
So
it
can you
is.
tell us a
Yeah.
bit more about the modern, what's it called again, MET,
Modern
modern
energy
energy
tapping.
tapping? Thanks
So
very
the
much,
modern
Jennifer.
energy tapping, it's the same like concept and principles as EFT, which is the most familiar tapping out there. Whereas modern energy tapping kind of, it focuses more on the positives. So, you know, like we always acknowledge how we're feeling and like the emotions we're feeling and stuff like that. But it kind of gears the patient or the person more into how they want to feel. So it's kind of like even Mark and like Vincent with the NLP, you know, you're not focusing on the kind of negatives as much, you know, like so with the EFT, you're usually setting up a statement where, you know, even though I have this anxiety, I love and accept myself. It's kind of, that's not part of the modern energy tapping. So it kind of, you know, acknowledge that the anxiety's there, whereabouts you're feeling it in your body or whatever it is you're tapping on. But then start to ask the questions, which would be similar in NLP, like how do you want to feel? You know, what does that feeling mean to you? What brings like any thoughts or memories? And we're tapping on the positives. So we're more tapping on the feeling that you want to feel, you know, bringing it into any part of your body that you want to bring it in. You can give it a color. So there's so many little elements to it. And you know yourself, like tapping just takes on a form of its own once you kind of get going, and it just leads down one road to another and stuff like that. So it's more focusing on the positives, like really just bringing you down that positive path as much as you can to really lift your energy. It's kind of like the scale in modern energy tapping begins at -10, which so we usually get people to like at the start say where they are on the scale, and then at the end just so they can see the comparison. So like the -10 would be very like someone that's severely depressed or really depressed and, you know, really down. And then, you know, you're not looking to get from -10 to +10. So it goes from -10, 0 is the middle, and then it goes from 0 up to +10, which is obviously like totally in love with life. But, you know, it's just to show them you just have to go up step by step. So, you know, even if you're start at -10 and get to a -8, that's progress.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's just kind of like that little scale to show them how much it is. But yeah, it's just that +10, like the more you can get them closer to that +10 or just further away from where they were, you know, they just, you can see it in them as they're tapping, like just the smiles that come on their faces, the
So I
release
suppose,
of their energy, like it's just amazing.
yeah, it does sound great. So that's kind of like your suds, if you like.
I was just thinking that,
which is well, basically the scale that we use, but it's the same thing.
I've heard of the stud scale. So yeah, it is. It's similar. It's just different names.
Exactly. Yeah. So would you mind, Jen, giving us a demonstration or showing us the tapping points that you use that we could maybe try ourselves, if that's all right?
No problem. So do you just want to do it with me?
I'd be happy to do that.
Absolutely, of course.
Okay, so any words come to mind? I usually say relax, calm, or peace, but I don't know if that's going to be a bit too calm for the start of the interview.
I'm sure we'll give it a go.
Okay, relax sounds good.
Relax. Vincent, are you happy with relax?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Okay, so we always start with our hands on the center of our chest, and you can close your eyes for this bit.
Excuse me.
So just want you to close your eyes and just begin by taking 3 deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Just breathing into your chest. And as you're breathing out, just breathing out any tension or tightness or anything you're feeling in your body. Just really bringing yourself into this moment, connecting with your body, being present.
It might be as well not to do this if you're driving while you're listening to this podcast.
Oh yes, definitely don't be doing this while you're driving. And when you're ready, if you want to keep your eyes closed or keep them open, it's completely fine. I'll call out the points. They're similar to a few of the ones you have done. So we start at the crown of the head, at the top of the head. And just focus on the word relax. So you can say it out loud or in your mind. And then we go to the start of the eyebrows. You can use 1 or 2 fingers here for each eyebrow. So just at the beginning of the eyebrows, right at the top of the nose. And again, as you breathe, just say the word relax. And then we go to the side of your eye, just at your temples. Again, just focusing and connecting with the word and energy of relax. And the slower you tap, the more calmer and relaxed your energy will become. It's always important to tap lightly as well. Then we go under your eyes, your stomach meridian. Again, just notice how your body is beginning to change, how it feels differently as it begins to relax. Then we go under your nose, above your lip. Again, relax. What is relaxation for you? How does it feel? Then we go below your lip, the dimple of your chin. Relax. And allow the energy of relaxation to just flow through your whole body. Maybe bring it into your mind, quieten your mind. And then we go under your collarbones. Again, just allowing the energy of relaxation to flow in. Allowing body and mind to slow down and relax. And then we go to the side of the thumb, so just up at the nail bed. And again, relax. Really feel the change in your body and mind now. We go through each finger, so your next index finger up at the same spot by your nail bed. Relax. And then we go to your middle finger, again by the side of your nail bed. Just welcoming all this relaxation in. Relax. And then we go to your ring finger. Relax. And really just welcome this energy and feeling of relaxation in. Go to your baby finger. Send this energy and feeling of relaxation to anywhere in your body that you feel you may need it the most. Anywhere you feel a bit of tension or tightness. Just focus on this part of your body as you bring in the energy of relaxation. And feel your body respond. And then we go to the side of the hand, your credit chop point. Again, this is our last point here. Let's just take in some deep breaths here. Focusing on relax. And when you feel ready and you feel nice and relaxed, I want you to bring your hands back to your heart center. Again, keeping your eyes closed, taking in 3 deep breaths. Breathing in all this beautiful relaxation, allowing it to flow through your whole body and mind. And when you feel ready and fully relaxed, you can open your eyes.
Wow, that was great. Excellent.
That was brilliant. We'll definitely have to put a warning out on that one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was only thinking I should have asked you where you were, but anyway, we probably should have kept that till the end for everyone going to bed.
Oh, maybe
Yeah, yeah.
so. Maybe so. I have to say that was excellent. Yeah, thanks very much for that.
Yeah, thank you
It
so
was
much.
a lot
No,
more
you're very
relaxing than I was
welcome.
expecting.
And that was one round, you know, like, so even for
Yeah.
anyone that's listening, like, that's how effective tapping is. Like, one round, if you're feeling anxious or overwhelmed, like, one round, you don't have to spend as long as on the points as like we
Yeah.
did. You could go through them a little bit quicker. I always say to people, you know, don't worry about where the points are, because people get caught up going, oh, I think I missed a point. That's completely
Yeah, it doesn't
fine.
matter.
Go wherever you remember. You know, you might even get
Yeah.
just 1 point, and that's okay. Stick to that 1 point. If you're somewhere in public or in work and like that, you're feeling a bit anxious or like stressed, or if you're getting ready for like doing a presentation or something, you can even just tap or like squeeze a finger, like with your index finger and your thumb of the opposite hand, and you could do that under a table and just be saying like relax, calm, or peace, or any other words in your mind as you're kind of like lightly tapping or squeezing. And that even alone just helps you just to really bring your energy down. Or even if you're just looking for like confidence, you know, if you are getting ready to do a presentation, or and you know, like I'm calm and I'm confident, you know, and you could be just doing that. So there's so many ways to use tapping, like literally for everything. I tap in the morning for my intention to have a great day every day, you know. If something's bothering me, I'll tap on that. So there's just like this little quick relax, calm, or peace is just a lovely way to bring your energy down if you are feeling a bit stressed or whatever. If I can't sleep, I'll sit up at night and tap on how easy I fall asleep, and a deep sleep, you know. It can be just like deep sleep, calm sleep, you know. So it's just it's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
can well
great
imagine
takeaway,
that.
Jen. Thanks so much for sharing that with
I'm
everybody. That's
definitely going to
brilliant.
use that. Yeah.
Yeah, could use it big time. And
Yeah,
what
thank
Actually,
what kind of people what kind of people would come to you like most, like for what issues, what would they for
you know
people
what?
like
It's so different, because biokinesiology, especially, that is like it focuses mainly on digestive issues. So like if anyone suffers with any type of digestive issue, like biokinesiology starts with looking at the gut. So that brings in all, like, from kids to elder people, like, you know, it's literally a broad range. But to be honest with you, even with the emotional, like the tapping and the IET and stuff like that, I think a lot more people are opening up to it, you know, and
Yeah.
they're kind of all starting to get a bit curious, and you know, just so you are noticing kind of. And I think there's a lot more mental health kind of issues out there as well, and people, you know, they're going for help doing all the usual stuff, and they're not really feeling huge changes or huge differences. And I think that's what then brings people down to this kind of line of stuff. You know, they're like, well, what else is out there that I can try? And you know, I believe the universe will always bring you what you're ready for, and you set the intention that you're ready to try something else or do something else, and suddenly this page will pop up on your Facebook or your Instagram, or a friend will mention. So you know yourself, like, they just find you in the
absolutely.
most random ways.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer in that now. I suppose since I started my journey there during lockdown, you know, it was like the right person at the right time would just pop up, you know, and just as you were getting through something, next thing something else pops up or someone else pops up, and it was like unbelievable. It was amazing.
Yeah,
How it was just the right person at the right time in the right order, you
it's pretty
know.
cool, isn't
Oh,
it?
it's
Brilliant, yeah.
amazing. Yeah. And then you start
It's
going
brilliant.
through it and you go, okay, I wonder who's coming next or what's coming next, you know. And it's funny because because I was talking to a friend of mine, and she's going through a healing journey as well, you know. So we're able to swap information. And as a
Yeah,
result of that, now we're both taking on different things that the other person has recommended, you know. And it's like, it's great, and it's like pretty cool that way. And just people pop up, and some people pop up just temporarily, give
yeah,
you what you need, and then they're gone. And others pop up and maybe for the longer term and that sort of stuff, you know. So it's amazing.
definitely. It is. It's so
Yeah,
cool. Like, it's just, and even there when before we started, like, and Mark was saying, "Oh, we'll just be asking you how you came across NLP." I had to stop for a minute. I was like, God, how did I find NLP? Because
Yeah.
like that so much stuff has popped up and came in. I'm like, God, where
Exactly.
did NLP come up with this?
Yeah.
Come in the whole order of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
like when I started doing it, like myself, I totally stumbled across it by accident. I was telling about you before, where I heard a podcast on the radio all about
Mm.
this stuff, like, and I was instantly hooked. But like, I suppose the question for you, Jan, really, how has NLP helped what you do now? Like, because I know because you can lead on to all kinds of other stuff, but how's the practitioner really helped you in what you do?
I suppose I focus more personally on me, and like even with my clients, I think the most thing I've gotten from NLP, I haven't been really doing many of the techniques or stuff,
Yeah.
but the words,
Mm.
the awareness of words and the right words to use. Sometimes I have to stop myself when I talk to people. It's like, they don't need your correction, correcting that sentence. It's like, hold back a bit. But like even with myself, like I just catch myself saying certain words or certain, how would you say, like maybe more on the negative stuff and not asking the right questions, like asking a negative question rather than a positive question. And the awareness of words has really, really like just been like a huge thing for me out of the NLP, and being able to catch them and change them to more beneficial stuff. And then that's helped me with clients as well. Like when I'm sitting talking to a client and you hear them say, especially like for instance with the biokinesiology, and it comes up, as it's food intolerances, usually it's a few foods that they like and they're like, oh my God, like I've nothing to eat. I'm gonna try, that word, try.
I love that word, try, yeah. We love that word.
It's like, I'm gonna really try this. And then I'd be like, no, you really want to do it.
You want to do your best.
Yeah, so little stuff like that, it's helped me in that way kind of with my clients, and then to help them as well to not go down that rabbit hole of why is this happening to me, why can't I do it. It's just having those little tips myself to be able to give them, which is lovely. And some of them really take it on board and they're like, oh my God, yeah, I'm actually going to do that now and change that word. Like just pick one word out of these three and change it to this word, but it helps. It's great to see them and they take it on board, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like using how questions really rather than why, that kind of stuff.
Like what, or even like what can I do instead of, or like what can I eat instead of gluten? Instead of focusing on, oh, I can't have gluten, I can't have bread, I can't have pasta, and they'd sit there saying that to me, looking at a sheet, I can't have this, I can't have that. I'm like, well, what can you have? Focus on what you can have. There's loads of options out there other than that, like. And we'd have a little chat about what they can have, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah. I was like, focus on that. So if you focus on the cans, you're going to feel more restricted. But if you focus on what you can have, you're going to open yourself up to a whole new way of eating, which you're going to feel so much better for. And it's easier when you're telling yourself, oh, I can have that, instead of
I suppose
can't.
it's a bit like if you're focusing on a small little corner of the world, which is what you can't have. And then there's the whole rest of the world, what you can have,
Exactly. I was
I think
just
we all
watching
get caught up with like that in lots of things, not just in food, I suppose.
everything, every area of my life, or my life, of our lives. Like we all do it, oh, I don't have this, but like, what do you have? There's just. I was actually only watching a thing there earlier, and they were talking about the exact same thing. It's like, focus on what you want. Like, how many of us sit there focusing on what we don't have while we're sitting in a home with food in the presses, with electricity, like so much blessings around us, and we're focusing on one thing or two things that we don't have.
Exactly.
Making us feel like crap, but like, stop and look around you, look at everything you do have.
Absolutely. And if you start thinking about where everything comes from and the amount of people that are involved in getting everything to you, whether it's water or oil or for the central heating, if it's electricity, whatever it is, even the car, all the parts were made. Where were they made? Probably in Japan or Korea or somewhere like that, or Germany or whatever. And you start thinking about all the hundreds of people, thousands of people that affect every single thing you touch in just one day,
It's
And then that's
amazing.
the amount of support, if you like, that you have in the
Yeah.
world, you know, all these people are supporting you, you know.
Yeah, and that's what made like you having that car or the
Yeah.
electricity like possible. It's
Yeah.
I was talking to a woman before and she said she was at a group and they were passing around the food, but every person that the food got passed to, they had to give thanks for something that made having this food in here possible. So she's like, it was crazy. Like it went from, like that, the farmer planting the seed, the actual seed itself, the work to take care of that seed, to grow into the food. It was just like all the
Yeah.
steps. It's like, wow, like when you actually stop and think about it, we just go to a supermarket, pick it off a shelf and be like, yeah, that's grand.
Yeah.
We
Yeah, well,
don't
that's
actually
exactly it.
think of what actually made it possible for us. And then the money that we have to buy it, the
Yeah,
car to get there to buy it, our legs and bodies to bring us there to buy our hands to pick it up. Like you could actually just spend hours just on one simple thing, just giving gratitude.
absolutely. Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
do
for
you
sure.
remember we did the course with Danielle, and she was saying about the gratitude thing, where every morning you write down things you're going to be
Yes,
grateful for in that day, and then in the evening time writing the stuff down you were grateful for. That was a good one, wasn't it?
it is. It's great. And gratitude is so powerful.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
no matter what's going on in life, and I know sometimes we're going through more harder times that it doesn't seem as easy, but we really do have so much to be grateful for.
yeah,
We
yeah.
take the little things for granted so much that we don't realize how blessed we are to have the things that we're used to every day. Like this chair I'm sitting on, like not everyone has a chair to sit on, really. Like
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
just
And there's a friend,
take it for granted.
yeah, there's a friend of mine, Mary McLean, and she's a hypnotherapist. And actually, she was there. We were chatting away because we worked together, you know, and we've been chatting about NLP and all that sort of thing for years, you know. And it was kind of half her fault that I started doing NLP. But anyway, she encouraged me. You see, that's where you went wrong. You know, the poor woman had to sit beside me for years. And anyway, she produced a little recording, you know, and I listen to it every morning, and it's basically about gratitude
Yeah, that's great.
and
Yeah,
like that. And all you do is think of 5 things that you're grateful for that day, you know.
Mm,
And even if you can't think of anything big, just to think of, you know, something small. It could be, like you said, the food and the press. It could be the car to bring you to work. It could be the job you have. And even if you want a better job, being grateful for the job you have now
yeah.
helps you out. And there's so many things we have to be grateful for. And actually, it's funny because, as I said there a few minutes ago, all of the thousands of people that are supporting us every day without us realizing, you know, without us
Oh,
even thinking
definitely.
about it, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, and there's just so much to be grateful for.
There
You
is,
know,
even with our own bodies, like I've especially become aware of how grateful it is to be for your body out of everything I've been through. Like our eyes to see how many people would do anything to have their sight, to see
yeah,
colors, to see faces, to see places. We just wake up with these things every morning that our body does for us, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm so nothing to be grateful for. Like, just look
yeah,
at yourself alone. Never mind physical, material things. Your body itself is like one of the most magical things that yours in this life.
yeah,
yeah,
It's
exactly. Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
yeah. And I suppose when you do look at it that way, it makes you, I suppose, want to take more care of it, you know.
mm,
Yeah.
And then to look around and see all the people that are there to support you in taking care of your body. I'm not just talking about doctors and hospitals, because a lot of people think, oh, what's their healthcare plan? Their healthcare plan is with like the VHI or LEA
Mm.
or whoever, you know, or but of course the thing about it is that's not really a healthcare plan, because by the time you need to use them, it's probably too late, you know, or it's certainly
mm,
you're not going in the right direction. Whereas
Yeah.
really what you want is, well, from the minute you get up in the morning to the minute you go to bed at night, what can I do to keep my health and to improve my health, you know, because I suppose we can always improve our health, but at least to get it to the best possible place, you
Bless your
know.
body, like to have even just everything in your body, even if you do have some sort of illness. Like even when I had kidney failure, it took a lot, but I really began to focus on everything else my body was doing. And then a healer I was asked, said, well, think about all the extra work your other organs, like your liver, and it has taken on because your kidneys aren't working at the moment.
Right.
I was like, wow, like, yeah, do you know, like
Yeah.
I'm taking on such a huge job to keep me going. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, it's like, what can I do to support it
Absolutely.
in the
Yeah.
best way?
For sure. Yeah. One of the things actually aging, you know, people hit a certain age and then they start to get old, you know. And I suppose I was lucky because when I was 29, I went to a hypnotist to give up smoking. I was smoking from when I was 12, you know. So 17 years in, I went to a hypnotist and to give up smoking. And whatever he did, he must have put some sort of woo-woo spell on me or whatever to get me this huge interest in health and looking after myself and my health. That ever since then, I never looked back. You know, I picked up a book on eating properly, you know,
Yeah.
and then that's led on to another thing, you know, and sort of thing. So I've always been active anyway, but I remember like things have just kind of improved and improved and improved and gotten better. So it's kind of now I look back and I remember there was an episode of Frasier, and it was like Frasier was saying, oh, he was giving out to his dad. If you remember Frasier, right? There's lots of people probably listening won't even remember Frasier. But anyway, Frasier's this guy, right? When he turned 40, it was an episode when he turned 40, and he was there and he was going, oh, you know, I just don't feel whatever. And when I get up off the sofa, I have a pain in my back and things like this. And his dad goes, ah, shit, that's your 40. You're getting old, you know. And it was like, I remember thinking at the time, because I was, God, geez, I don't want to be like that when I'm 40, you know, that sort of thing. And the thing about it is that you don't have to be, you know, now people, you can go and you can keep yourself flexible, you can make yourself strong, all that sort of stuff. Like if you saw there a couple of years ago, Arnold Schwarzenegger was in a shop, I think it was. Some guy came up and done a jumping side kick into him. He was like 72 or something at the time, you know. There's not many 72-year-olds can do a jumping side kick and then you bounce off them, like, you know. But why did they bounce off Arnie? Or was it because he was 72? No, because he's strong. He's been lifting all his life. He's been building his strength all his life. And he said there recently, I'll keep lifting till I die, you know? Because what will happen if he stops lifting, you know, sort of thing? He'll start to deteriorate.
Yeah.
Like we all have a choice. So you don't have to stop at 40 or 30 or whatever. You can keep going into your 70s and probably into your 80s, you know?
And I suppose that's one of the subconscious programs we're all surrounded by, you know, like getting old and you have to slow down and you start to get fragile and, you know, like that's just surrounding us. Like,
I suppose it's societal programming to a certain extent. And so many people buy into it unnecessarily, you know? Definitely. And the thing about it is, look, you come across an issue, you come across a problem, say you try to get up off the sofa and you go, oh, I've got a pain in my back or I can't get up or I have to struggle to get up. And suddenly you're there and you think, okay, well, maybe I can accept this and get old now, or I can go, maybe I can get stronger, maybe I can get more flexible, you know, sort of thing. And I think that's really the road to go down.
Yeah, and even start small. You know, some people be like, oh God, I don't know where to start. Like, I wouldn't be the best exercise person, and I'm gonna hold my hand up to that. Like, me and exercise, I used to always say, I don't have the best relationship. But it's like even just getting out for a walk, you know, that's exercise. You don't have to be going to the gym. I couldn't tell you the last time I seen the inside of a gym. But, you know, people think, oh, I have to join this gym and do 5 days a week. And you don't. Just start small. Get out for a half an hour walk 3 times a week if you can. You know, there's loads of even little yoga videos I've done on YouTube that are 10 or 15 minutes. You don't need to commit to the whole hour. So just like little small things like that just to start off, like, and kind of get you started. And you feel good about it. You know, I done a 30-day yoga challenge that was free on YouTube with Adrian. And I actually completed it, which was great. Yeah. But I felt fantastic after. And they were like 15, 20 minutes each day. So it wasn't like an hour or this big, oh, I have to stay here now and do this for an hour. Like 15, 20 minutes is doable. I felt great doing it and I felt fantastic after it. And then when I completed the 30 days, I felt super proud of myself. Yeah. You know, and it's all just kind of, that keeps you going and gets the motivation going even more then.
Absolutely, yeah, it's great.
It's like even you get people walking around shopping centers, just not even shopping, but just like big Blanchardstown's a massive place, so you can go for a long walk around there. Like, and still it's a massive walk, isn't it?
Yeah, especially when the weather's bad.
Yeah.
I think people in Canada do that
Yeah, they
during
do,
the
don't they?
winter
Yeah.
because when it's like all snowing outside and stuff like that, you can't go anywhere, you can't do anything. So they go into the shopping centres and they walk around the shopping centres for exercise.
No way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, up and down the steps. But you'd be amazed what you can do. Like
But that's it.
the free exercise machine, you know, the up and down the steps instead of taking the escalator, you know, or
Yeah,
the lift or
yeah.
whatever. Yeah, yeah.
And it's just making those little changes. Like I started doing that because I'm on the third floor here. And like before my operation, I was like, do you know what? I'm going to start taking the stairs up instead of the elevator because I knew I done no exercise. So it's like, at least
Yeah.
if I do that once or twice a day, it's better than nothing.
Definitely,
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
It's,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
like a mindset, isn't it, Jan? Like it's like
Yeah.
kind of a mindset. Like, because I remember reading a book on habits. Carmen, I think the name of the writer was, but basically what they were saying was someone had went to an orthopedic hospital, and there was a lot of she went in and done a kind of a survey to say how are you going to recover after your operation, and whoever wrote down, like this guy wrote down, I collect my daughter from the bus every day, and I'm gonna walk up to the collector on the bus every day, and I don't care. I know it's gonna take me a long time to start with, but I will gradually get better. And the people who wrote down that what they were gonna do, everyone who wrote down what they were gonna do, ended up getting much better after 6 months. But people didn't write down, they were still in the bad way, the same position, or not any better. So it just shows you.
Right.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
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 so
that is interesting, isn't it? I suppose
Yeah.
you're setting your intention, really, aren't you?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's,
And when you set your intention, like the whole concept of setting your intention now is something that's worked very powerfully for me. I've been very lucky over the last year and a half or so, probably actually geez, 2 years. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Where
Where's
does
the
the time
time?
go?
Yeah,
oh
exactly.
yeah,
Over the last 2 years. Yeah. But it's been something that's been very, very powerful for me. And like I do it every morning. And I like, and it's so simple. Like it could be just something as simple as, if you have a job to do and work, that the job will go well. Or if you're going to play football, the football will go well, or hurling, or wherever it happens to be. Or you're going to meet somebody, you're going to talk to somebody, just that it goes well. And it could be that simple, or it can be
Yeah.
obviously much more complex or whatever. But you'd be just amazed how your unconscious mind, I suppose to a certain extent, it's a bit like praying,
Yeah.
that yeah, basically it sets it for you, and you yeah, it really, really is very powerful. Very I suppose
It
people do talk
is.
about the power of prayer, and it's more or less the same thing, really, isn't it?
It is. But
In
there's so
terms of
many forms of prayer, like we think
absolutely,
it's
yeah.
all these like faithful things. But I remember my friend told me before, because I was saying to her, I don't think I really know how to pray. And she's like, saying thank you is a prayer.
Well,
yeah.
that's true, yeah, yeah. And like as we were saying there about gratitude and stuff like that earlier, it's like that is a kind of a form of a prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So no, it is. And even you're talking about setting the intention in the day for your day, you can tap that in as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, true, very
Is that
true.
something
Yeah,
you do
Like
yourself,
that,
Jan? Would you maybe
huh?
just
would you kind of do that in your practice
10 day
yourself, Jan?
tapping
Is that
summit that
something you
was
do?
on there a few months ago online. And yeah, so most days now I'll get up and I will just, today is going to be a great day. I'm going to like that, just something I want to do in the day, or just even if I'm not sure what to say, I'll just say how I
yeah,
want to feel today. I want to feel calm. Kind of comes to my mind, and just set and tapping it in, and it feels like you feel great after it. It's like 5 minutes of tapping,
Yeah.
saying all these great things about your day. You're like, yeah, bring it on.
yeah. I suppose the thing about
And
tapping is you're basically literally tapping into your central nervous system, into your
Yeah,
and obviously that's where so much where you hold so much, you hold so much emotion, it's amazing. Actually, one of the things I do,
it
I was
is.
saying to Mark, when I'm tapping, is I actually now just visualize myself tapping, so I feel the crown been tapped, the third eye, whatever you want to say, side the eyes, so I don't even have to use my hands. So now, for example, if I'm in the gym, right, and I'm lifting, I actually any system. So it helps
Yeah.
you recover. You're starting your recovery straight away. And we were saying that the last time, Mark, you were saying that you do that when you're running now as well. And
Yeah, I
again, you don't
do,
have
yeah.
to actually be physically tapping. You can just be
Oh.
visualizing and feeling the tapping.
Oh, I'm gonna have to give that a go now. I had heard
Because-
someone briefly mention that for sleep, he's like, I wouldn't physically tap. I'd just lie there and imagine myself tapping as I'm trying to sleep. So I must actually give that a go now when I'm doing something out on my walk, because that's as far as
I
exercise
kind of
will
look
go for
funny
me.
running up the road. I look
You
funny
definitely
running
won't
up
be seeing me run anywhere.
Even walking down the road, if you, and the thing about it is we use it for, like, say, for example, you have a pain somewhere, like, you know, then you can just tap as you're walking. You know,
Yeah.
you're not actually physically tapping, and then actually,
Visualize.
and as you're tapping, then it brings the information down, brings the pain down, and then you're grand, you know.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm definitely gonna remember that now and give it a go next time, and just really visualize and feel myself tapping on the
Absolutely,
points
yeah.
without actually physically doing it.
Yeah,
Because again, it's the power of the mind, isn't it? Like the
well, it
mind
certainly
believes
is.
whatever you're saying or doing in it. Like,
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. And the
And
beauty
Jen,
of
how
the
can
acupressure points is that you don't even have to believe in it.
yeah,
You know,
that's it. Because you can feel it instantly. Like that's, you know, people. I've had people like this. This sounds so silly. I'm like, it feels so around.
yeah,
You know, it's just you
yeah.
can't deny how different you feel after it. So it kind of it's just amazing. I love tapping.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, once you tap, you can't stop.
Yeah.
That's really bad. That's really bad.
And especially when you know you can use it for everything. Like people are like,
Yeah,
what do you mean everything? I'm like, literally everything. And then you go blank trying to think of examples. But it's
yeah,
like everything. You can use it to uplift your energy. You can use it to calm your energy. You can use it for sleep. You can use it to release emotions and go deep into the emotional kind of stuff with it as well. You
yeah,
can
yeah.
just use it to uplift your mood.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
But
where can people contact you, Jan? Like for do you have a website yourself that you work
Yeah,
off?
I do have a website. So my website is www.justbewellnessireland.com. And then my
Okay.
Instagram and Facebook are Just Be Wellness Dublin.
Great stuff.
okay, I
Yeah.
have to start following you now. So
Yeah.
Oh,
Definitely.
yeah,
yeah.
that's all. Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, and I'm in Dundrum, but I can do tapping and stuff like that, like on a video call. You don't have to be in person
Excellent,
for a tapping
excellent.
call.
And yeah, that's brilliant. I learned so much now this evening. I'm delighted
Yeah. Thanks so
that
much. Yeah.
we did this. Thanks very much, Jen. Fair play to
No,
you.
thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. I was
Yeah.
a bit nervous, I have to admit, but it was really cool. Thank you.
That's
No, you're
all.
doing
Thank
great.
you.
Doing great. Thanks so much, Jan,
Oh,
for
no.
coming on.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. It was lovely speaking.
Yeah, you too. Take it easy,
Chat
and
to you
we'll talk to
soon.
you again, Jen.
Yes,
Talk to you soon.
definitely. Chat soon.
All right, take
Thank you.
care.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Yeah, so that was absolutely brilliant talking to Jenifer Spain there today. It worked out really well. It was a great podcast, and I really appreciate Jan coming on.
Absolutely, yeah. I learned so much there today. I have to say, I was looking forward to learning, as I always do, and I really learned a lot there from Jennifer. And yeah, it was absolutely great talking to her, and looking forward to talking to her again.
Yeah, and the way she explained things, how she used the tapping was excellent. I found it excellent the way she I hadn't came across that before, the -10 and bringing it up towards +10. That was a fascinating way of doing it, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, it was very interesting. Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely will be using that tonight when I'm going to sleep, you know.
Yeah,
Have a nice, deep, relaxing sleep.
yeah. Because like I was nearly going to sleep that time when she got to relax because I was so chilled out with it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That could have gone, it could have gone, it could have backfired on us. We could have been there just zonked through the floor, you know, the three of us. Going, oh yeah,
Yeah.
what are we talking about?
Welcome to this sleeping podcast.
Oh
Let's just
no.
all go sleep.
Exactly. Exactly.
But no, and then we're gonna share Jan's links as well on the show notes for people to contact her as well.
Yeah. We
Happy.
better put a warning in on the show notes as well.
Yeah,
Not to
yeah.
not to listen to that or not to try it while you're driving.
When you're driving or using machinery. or
Yeah.
throwing food into crocodiles.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
but no, like everything, because I did, obviously I done the NLP practitioner with Jan, and
Yeah.
like I don't know, when you know when you're it's your unconscious mind really takes it in, because there's no way consciously you could learn that much in over that 5 day period, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Because Orlando was saying there on Thursday night, when Richard Bandler is doing the practitioner course, that the first hour and a half seems to be just him telling stories, you know.
Yeah,
And then suddenly, when you're practicing, you're trying all the stuff, you know, it just seems to work.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant.
And it's great the way, like, because Jan was saying, like, she doesn't really mix it, but the language, that's what she really got out of it. The language that was used in the NLP
Acorn.
brought it to did you get that?
Uh, well, actually,
Went
it
off
broke a
again.
bit. Yeah. Okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You were saying about how she was finding the language that we use in NLP so useful.
Yeah, that brought across to her, to when she's tapping and helping people with their, with any all issues they have, using the tapping she uses.
Absolutely. And the thing about it as well is that even just the language that we use in our own everyday lives, whether as a practitioner or as just anybody, man on the street, the language you use has such an influence on how things work out for us. You know, how we feel about things, how things work out for us, all that sort of thing. So yeah,
Yeah,
it definitely is a very powerful tool, the correct use of language or the use of good language.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Like what I was trying to say in the podcast later on, I apologize for all the listeners that I have a bit of an internet problem tonight, but these things can't be helped. It's life. But the best thing about it is, if something like that happens, you just go through and do the best you can. Like, I think that's a good learning for tonight for everybody that's listening. You know, just don't give up. Just because things happen out of control.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. And all you can do is control what you can control.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Without getting caught up
Like,
on that.
like what I was trying to get across later on was, I was working with a person the other day,
Yeah.
and she said she suffers bad with procrastination. She puts things off the whole time. So what I did was, I used the art gallery technique with
All
her,
right.
and that got her the suds down to about 5 after I
Okay.
finished that, you know, and she was like, wow, that was a great, incredible experience, which was great. So like, you want to bring it back down to 0 or less, even 1 if you can, you know. So what I did was, I started around the tapping with her, and I made it fun. I made a comedy out of it. I just said, I always procrastinate anymore, like that kind of thing, you know,
Sorry, you were saying
which
there,
made it
Mark. You got as far
gone
as
again, am
you
I?
were making it fun and then you froze.
Yeah, I was making it fun, and
Yeah.
I said to her, like, you know, I was saying to her, like, I do procrastinate, but I know it's silly, so I'm not going to do it anymore. I procrastinate, but I'm definitely going to put it off to later. I don't use that stupid word anymore, procrastination. And by doing that, she was laughing, and you could see the difference that we made. Like, it was just,
Yeah. Very good. Excellent. So she was happy enough at the end of it, as indeed were you, I'd say.
yeah, quite. I said, try hard to get any of it back. I said, I don't want to, so that's good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 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 Cool. All right. So I suppose we're at the end of the podcast now. So I think it's your turn to do the scale and lay this week, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I can do it. Yeah. It was basically, I'll give you a story which actually happened there last week. I was out
Right.
in play with my little fella, and we were going around the arcade, and he was doing the small little basketball game,
Yeah.
and he was missing a lot of the shots, and he was getting a bit annoyed. Says, "Oh, Dad, I keep missing," because he's very good usually at hitting the basket. So I said to him, I said, pretend you're doing it at home. Pretend you're doing it at home. and right enough, he hit every basket. So when he changed
Very good.
the when he changed where he changed his ego state to when he was at home, and that made him get all the baskets in.
Excellent. Excellent. Thanks very much for that, Mark.
Cheers, no problem.
And I'm talking about tapping into your nervous system and tension. So tomorrow or tonight, when you go to bed, as you start to drift off, and maybe you're doing a bit of tapping to relax yourself into a nice deep sleep. Set your intention, whatever it is that you're really looking for in life.
Set your intention. Great stuff. I love that. I love that, Fintan. Great stuff. Cheers for that. Thanks, Fintan. Can you hear me?
All right, no bother at all. Yeah, very
Cheers,
well.
Okay, so big thank you for everybody tuning in today's podcast, NLP Upskill Your Life. With pleasure to have Jenifer Spain on the podcast. So any closing words, Fintan?
No, I'm just delighted to have met Jenifer and really enjoyed that podcast. Now, learned an awful lot from her. And as I said before, looking forward to working with her again, you know.
Most definitely, yeah. Great stuff. So join us again for another podcast, NLP Upskill Your Life. We'll probably to our channel, and you can email us if you have any comments of how you find the podcast. So once again, big thank you to all listeners. Talk to us soon. Thank you and good night.
Thanks very much to everyone for listening, and thanks very much, Mark and Jenifer.
Thank you, Fintan. Cheers.